Welcome back to A Guide to Poor Parenting, a podcast where me, Jason,
and me, Jennifer,
have a few drinks
and talk shit about our kids.
And if you are on social media, where everybody is these days, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Guide to Poor Parenting, all one word. Miss Jennifer, how's your week been?
All right. That's all I'm going to say about that. Well, my son's birthday today,
That's
so
true.
Yay. It's his fourth birthday with me.
You have officially a tween.
I officially have a tween, which he's been in 10, so, I got like 2 goods of like kitty stuff now. I get the attitude and the hormones and all that lovely stuff.
He'll be finding crusty socks in his bed very soon.
I hope not anytime soon, but he will talk to you when that time comes.
We've had a little conversation about it, but
yeah.
It's all good.
How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. One of my best friends from college flew in this weekend, and she's actually going to join us on the podcast.
Well, that too.
That too. All right. Well, Miss Lindsey is here. She's a friend of mine we went to college at Southwest Texas State, very early 2000s. I'll let 4 listeners figure out how long ago that was. Yeah, and I met her when she was 18 and I was 20, I think. No, you're 42. So I was 20. Yeah, I don't know. I think I was 18 and you were 20 at the time, and then I turned 20. And I was a terrible influence on you and your younger sister.
Yes, thank you for that.
Miss Lindsey, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking my go-to vodka and tonic.
So when Lindsey arrived Friday, I was like, I'll get some Tito's vodka because I know she wants vodka tonics and for the podcast, and I wasn't able to. So we had some just regular vodka, not a fifth, but I don't know. It was a good sized bottle, like a typical sized bottle. And we finished it all day yesterday. And then we were like, let's go to Costco and get some. So we got the half-gallon liters, and we were most of the way through one of them because we have just been day drinking.
I told you we needed 2.
I'm glad you got it because we've gone through it and it's been a blast.
Yes,
so
it has. We
started day drinking yesterday at like 2 or 3, I think. We were going to do the podcast yesterday, but it was like, nah, I'm too drunk anyway. So.
Well, we had a surprise too yesterday.
Oh yeah, we took Lindsey. Where did we have lunch? Yeah, we went to lunch
in the store,
and then we came back, and my daughter was home with the grandkids, so Lindsey got to meet the babies.
Oh, they're adorable, and I love them.
They're precious. You got her baby fixed while she's away from her 3 babies.
Well,
I'm so glad you could join us.
Me too. I'm excited.
We haven't seen you since the last wedding, in 19, I think it was.
I think you're right.
Yeah. We talk like every 2 or 3 months, but we don't talk anymore. No. I moved away. Well, now that you're here, and normally Jennifer's like, I'm just going to hold back because I don't know this person, but they became fast friends when we all went to New Orleans, and I was like, Jennifer, this is my friend Linda.
Yeah.
And the entire weekend, she was Linda, and then Jennifer became Jessica.
Yep. Our alter egos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alter
just
egos.
for New Orleans.
Linda and Jessica go way back.
Yep. We got matching bracelets with our names on it, and just had a good old time.
Oh my gosh. Every time we were around each other, it's just day drinking.
Yay.
Well, Miss Lindsey, you have 3 wonderful children.
I do.
You do. 15-year-old, 12-year-old, and an 8-year-old.
That's correct.
They're wonderful. Last time I saw them, I was treated like a jungle gym, and they were just dive bombing me, and it was just like, how do you handle 3 little terrors like this?
I day drink.
That's why she has a Costco membership, so she can get the gallon vodka.
No, they can't. They don't have the vodka.
In Texas, we don't. We don't have the liquor.
No?
Liquor in no.
Not the Costco she goes to.
Oh,
so.
that sucks.
Yeah, I have to go to a regular liquor store.
Oh, that's so much more expensive.
I know.
Because that big massive thing is like $20.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, since this is an auditory medium, what's funny is our big fat cat just jumped on the couch and almost knocked over Jennifer's microphone, and now he's going to start molesting Lindsey's hair again.
It smells so good.
Apparently, he was just loving all over her the first night he was here.
I don't know if it smells as good. No.
It's like I gotta mask the other cat's scent. So tell us about your journey into motherhood. That was 16 years ago.
Yeah, we
Y'all been married like 3 or 4 years? No, 2 years.
Well, we had our 3rd year anniversary a month after our first was born. That's right. No, our 2nd. First was born in 2007.
And when did y'all get married?
2005.
Awesome wedding.
Thanks. Yeah, so we have Coda is our eldest, and Grayson.
And y'all had, when you had Grayson, or Coda at like mid to late 20s.
I was 27.
27, yeah.
I was 27 and 30 and then 34.
It's still a good age. Like, those are all good ages to have kids, I feel like. I think if I were a woman, I'd be scared to be like, oh, I'm pushing 40. I don't think I want to.
Yeah, I knew after Tate that was definitely it.
Well, after 3 kids, yeah, I would suspect so.
But I think I definitely felt the difference or the age during each pregnancy. Like, I was definitely more tired the third pregnancy.
Shocking.
But that's also because I had 2 kids already. But,
Yeah.
you know.
But they weren't super close in age, which is nice, too.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a... They were about all 3.5 years apart.
Yeah. That's about how far it costs. I think... I don't know. If we'd had any biological children, I'd be like, that. I would think I'd want to pace them that far out, too.
Yeah, I didn't want it one back to back. Like, I couldn't keep up with that.
Yeah.
Get one out of diaper, go back to diaper.
Yep.
I don't know. My cousin, Kelly, she was medical resident. Bam, bam.
I don't know how
It's
she does that.
Practically Irish fucking twins.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ugh, I don't know how she handled it. So, with each pregnancy, what did you feel like you had learned more and more, or do you feel like you got loosey-goosier, or how did you feel like the transition was between each child?
I feel like I became much more confident in just my gut feelings about things. And
Yeah.
I feel like I trusted myself, be like, I know something's wrong, you know, with the kid, or became to better advocate for myself and for the kids, like with medical stuff and everything. But yeah, I became a more confident mom. I was not as nervous, you know, after the third one. I was like, yeah, he's
I
fine.
got this.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Done this before. You could do it. But
What was that article we saw, or I told you about, when parents have to hit like 30% of kids' needs to have a good childhood?
Yep. Did you ever not like want a girl? Like, because you have 3 boys, was there ever that like,
Oh,
let's try for one more because I want a girl, or were you just going for 3 boys?
yeah, so that's how I wanted a third. Bill, my husband, was like happy with 2. And I thought I was too. But then I got to a point where I'd stopped working. I was a stay-at-home mom. And I was just started thinking, you know, I just felt like there was something missing. And it took me a year to convince Bill that we could handle a third, that we could do a third. And because he always had it in his head. You know, he has 2 kids just in his family, so he's like, yeah, that's it. But he did start saying, well, maybe then, you know, we'd have a girl. Mm-hmm. And I knew that wasn't going to happen. I knew that the likelihood, it's going to be a boy. Right. But I kind of was like, yeah, it's totally could be a girl, you know.
I'm going to get my way. I'll say whatever.
I always wanted boys. I'm scared of girls. Being a mother of a girl, that really terrified me. It would have been nice to have a girl just because it's different.
Yeah.
And I think I wanted it more for Bill just because
Daddy's little girl.
I wanted him to have, you know, or at least have a chance of having that relationship of Daddy's little girl. And because I think he'd be a great girl dad. But
What made you nervous about having a daughter, though?
I think just teenagers
Yes.
and my relationship with my mom and knowing how difficult that is. I don't know.
See, I don't know, I guess as a perspective of a man, I was like, I would much rather have a girl. I'm scared of the teen pregnancies. That's the only thing that really scares me. That's the only thing that scares me about Kalia is having a teen pregnancy. But I was like, I don't know, boys are so hard. Like, I always find it hard to get them to open up to me. And I just felt like I could relate to a girl a whole lot more than I could a boy.
Yeah.
So when we got custody of Kalia, I was like, oh, I don't have to deal with a gross boy.
And then you have other girl granddaughters. Mm-hmm. So you got 3 girls, but then you got what?
Well, I got my gross boys from Matt and John, my
that's
little
true,
brothers, because they were disgusting. So boys are nasty.
I don't
Yes,
know.
they
Kalia can be kind of disgusting too.
That's just, everybody's different. So.
Yeah.
I didn't want a girly girl because I'm not a girly girl. So that's why I was like, I don't really think I want to adopt a girl because I don't want to do leading and dance and all this really do my hair, Mom. No, Mama doesn't do hair. That's why I should do nothing.
Yep.
I want dresses. But then I get a boy that wants a different outfit, like a specific. So I kind of got that, even though I didn't.
Yeah, my kids all are into, well, not all. The youngest one doesn't care yet. But the two oldest one are very into clothes right now and picking out stuff and going shopping and going thrifting. And so that's fun. For me, I like doing that. But I just think I was meant to not have little girls.
Well, you also had some little girls around you too, like with Ava and so.
Yeah, my best friend had little girls, so I was able to get that. Both my sisters have boys. Like we were just, I think,
Popping out them
it
boys.
was all, yeah. So it worked out. It all worked out.
There you go.
And we love Tate, the youngest one. So even though he's a girl, Bill cried a little bit when we found out the sex. And so God bless him. I was like, I'm sorry.
It's your fault.
Like,
I know, but still, like I felt bad for him. But he got over it. And Tate couldn't ask for, he was definitely the missing piece for our family.
He's a sweet little boy.
He is. He's sweet.
I have this cute. We were talking about the other day. I have this cute picture of me holding him when he was like 2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I like see you, I'm like, oh, look at this picture. And you FaceTime with him yesterday, and I was like, hi, Tate.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember you.
Yeah, Grayson and Coda remember you.
Does Grayson remember me?
He said he did.
Okay. I think yeah,
'Cause,
he would have been like 5 or 6 when he came over.
Yeah, he was a
Little baby. Did y'all? Well, all right. So I guess the good segue. When you talked about the quitting work and being a stay-at-home mom, you were a social worker. A degree was in. Mm-hmm. From what I remember, you said, well, I guess 2 reasons. You were like the amount of money you'd be bringing in as a social worker was basically just pay for all their child care if you worked.
Yeah, I think after childcare, I would be making $500 a month. Wow. So why? I wasn't enjoying it at the time anymore. So
Was there ever a time you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
At the beginning, or
at the beginning? Well, even towards the end, some days I had good days, but when I left, it was just a desk job. I was the daycare coordinator. So, which at first I thought, oh, this is great, because I won't be on call and I won't be having to go all these places. I'll have regular hours, but it was so boring for me. Like I couldn't stand being at my desk from 8 to 5. I liked doing casework better. So,
so what positions did you hold when you were with? I think they call it CPS in Texas.
CPS, Child Protective Services. I worked in. I started in conservatorship, which is when we take custody of a child. After the investigation, we have custody of the kids, and the parents are working services, so the kid will be returned.
Okay.
So that's where I started, and then I did placement. I was a placement coordinator, and that was finding foster homes or treatment centers or shelters for kids. And then I did an adoption caseworker, which was my favorite. I would have stayed there, but they started cutting back on those units. And so they got rid of my unit. And so that's when I went to the daycare coordinator.
Did you ever, did they ever try and recruit you to a private adoption agency?
I talked to a couple of the agencies, but they don't pay much.
I was about to say, no, them.
And it just, it would have been on-call hours and all that. And it's
Why would you be on call? You're just finding babies for...
Well, because there's different placements. Like if a placement breaks down and if a foster parent calls and says, "Get this kid out of my house, this and this happened."
Oh, I meant more like the the ones that do babies and stuff like that.
Oh, there's not many of them, and there's not they're usually people who work there in certain positions will stay
for a
while. Yeah, because they got the easy good job that.
The one that doesn't cause trauma and
yeah
PTSD.
Yeah.
Because I remember you talked about this the other day, that you would come home like dry heaving, so stressed out from the job.
Oh yeah, well, I would wake up in the morning and start getting ready for work and start dry heaving, just thinking about it. And I would go to bed and I had a notepad because I would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh, I have to do a family plan or I have to do this court report. And so I would just write down notes just to keep track of all the crap that, I had to take care of.
Which
I was just doing that because it takes a very strong person to do it. I don't think with no pay and with all what you see and what you hear and what you go through, I applaud you.
Oh, thank you, Jessica.
which position was probably the hardest for you?
Conservatorship. So working, because in that you're working with the parents and then also the child, making sure that their kids' needs are met, that they're in a good home and school's doing okay. You have to know everything about their life and make sure that, everything is going well with them. But then you're also working with the parents and then setting up all of the services that have been court ordered for them.
Like drug rehab?
Well, like if,
classes.
it could be rehab, parenting classes, therapy, anger management. Just depending on what was going on in the home, and all that.
And there's probably multiple of those classes that some parents had to go through.
Oh God, there'd be lists and lists. If, some were easier, some just had to do parenting classes. And
Here's how not to beat your child.
oh yeah, or that you have to feed your child, so
The little things.
change their diaper. Some weren't as bad, but others, there was a lot going on. And you had to keep track of all of that. And then every 6 months for each case, you go to court, and so you write your court report, and then you hope to God that you've done everything right, and then the judge is happy, with everything. So
Give you
and then you
30 or 40 of them at a time.
Usually, I think my highest was 30. They used to keep it 25, but then you also have to see every child every month.
Insane.
So, and then you write a child plan talking about what the child needs, what's going on, and then you write a family plan talking about. It's just, and then you have phone call. There's just not enough time in a day to do everything.
It doesn't surprise, knowing you and knowing the people who have done social work, it doesn't surprise me that kids fall through this. We'll work y'all to death and they don't pay you enough. And
Yeah, that's.
So what, I think we've had this conversation in the past, but I have a bad memory, so we can have it again and record it, so when I forget.
I'll remind you.
Yeah, he's like, go listen to episode 20 or season 2.
Not telling you again.
But since you were in foster care and since you were an adopted child yourself, did you and Bill talk about adoption or foster? I know you've talked about fostering recently, but did y'all ever talk about adopting yourselves?
Yes. I always, my plan was if I could, then I would like to have at least one of my own biological children. Yeah. And then as, I had a pregnancy, everything went well. When we continued having our kids, we talked about, or I've always brought up, I want to foster and possibly adopt teenagers, teenager boys specifically, once my kids are older. So, and Bill seems okay with it. We'll see, if that comes. But I don't know. I didn't adopting a child. I just wanted my biological kids. Like I wanted someone related to me because I'd never had that, So when Coda was born, I looked at Bill and I said, "This is the first blood relative, that I've ever met. This is it." So I don't know. It just.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I would, yes, in the future, definitely foster.
Yeah. My love, we are in our mid-40s.
I know, I don't care.
You want to be fostering babies at 50?
I can.
Okay.
I'll let you have Wesley.
Yeah.
Come visit me.
Yeah, okay. I'll let you in summertime. We'll just come for you the whole summer.
I will say, Jennifer and I went to it was supposed to be a support group, but it was more like a continuing education for foster families.
It was
thing.
mostly geared to the foster families. Yeah.
But there was a couple there that had been fostering since the 80s, and their eldest foster kid, I think, was in his 50s.
That's nuts.
And I was like, y'all are doing the Lord's work.
Yeah. I think if anything, I could do like just at least respite care for other foster parents. So, if they need to go do something or need a weekend off, then I could just take kids for a short period of time. But I don't know. We'll see.
You still got time. Well, that brings me to another segue. You are you're the middle child of 3 sisters.
Yes.
And you and your elder sister are both adopted. Just like my kind of like my family. We're just minus 1 child, but like your dad and mom didn't think weren't able to get pregnant, so they adopted y'all, and then your younger sister was like I was.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, Chelsea, mom got pregnant with Chelsea when I was 7 and my mom was 38. So my mom was still children. They tried all kind of things.
Did they know what was wrong? Like, they know what was causing the issues?
Fate.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about my mom. Something in my mom's body was killing off sperm or something.
She had a hostile womb.
Yeah.
Hopefully clean those.
No.
Yeah, right?
I'm just hoping she's a lesbian.
But yeah, so I don't know. And I think there was some other stuff, but so they adopted Brittany and then 3 years later adopted me and thought, okay, we're done. Surprise!
Surprise! But with my brother's adoption, it was a closed adoption. I don't think were you and your sisters, were y'all both a closed adoption?
Oh yeah.
Too? Okay.
I think back then, like pretty much all adoptions were.
Okay.
It was rare to have open adoptions. I don't think that started until decades later, a decade ago.
What I was found so amazing. You want to talk about you just met your biological family not too long ago. It was like last 4 or 5 years?
4 years ago.
Tell us that story, because that was amazing.
It is amazing. It's my favorite.
Do you know the story, Jennifer?
I know a little bit, but not
Okay.
from Lynn.
Yeah, so
I'll tell it.
Yes, I will tell. I always wanted to find my biological parents. I was always curious about it. And I made several attempts throughout the years. The first one being at 18, because you have to wait until you're 18, to contact the Catholic Charities, the adoption in Houston that I was adopted through.
I think when my parents may have
Probably.
gone through. Because they adopted out of Houston.
It's one of the, I think that's that one, and I think Marywood in Houston, but Catholic Charities was definitely one of the bigger. So anyway, and there was just, they have certain things that you have to do and money you have to pay to like get, and to even be able to like write a letter, and they'll give the letter to the biological parent, and then you have to wait and see if they'll write back.
That's a little fucked up.
And and so I always was like, whatever.
Sorry, but
Now, adopting babies is
let me
it's a little icky.
get your money so that way you can.
Yeah.
I can give them a letter.
And I'm like, it's my life. Whatever. But so I never went through with it because I thought it was a bunch of bullshit and it bothered me. And finally, I think for my birthday or Christmas, something, Bill bought me a DNA kit. Well, I have done both. The other
23andMe.
23andMe. So I started out with 23andMe. It sat on my counter for like a month because I was terrified to do it.
What were you scared of?
Just rejection. Like if I did find them, and then
want to be part of your life.
yeah, I was just scared. It's just like so many different things could happen.
Right.
So anyway, so I finally did the test. We got the results, and I ended up getting. It's a long story. I'm gonna try to. But
We got time. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I got a match with a Vivian, and she was like a second cousin once removed. And thank God Bill is helping me because my husband's brilliant and was able to figure out, and he'd worked on like his family's ancestry and stuff. So he helped me like piece together who's who. But I actually contacted Vivian and kind of explained the situation and asked if she could help me. That we think that one of her cousins was my biological dad.
Oh.
And so She was so sweet, and she has an adoptive daughter, and her adopted daughter had found her parents, and it wasn't the best story after that, but Vivian was awesome, and I was like, yes, I will help you with whatever I can.
Have you met her?
No, because she lives, I won't remember. I don't know where she lives, but I'm friends with her on Facebook, and occasionally, we message each other.
Nice.
And then she talks now with Tommy, my biological father, because he's like, I owe you so much for helping me. So, but anyway, so she started kind of talking around with people, and then we started doing more research, and we pretty much were able, after months and months, we're able to determine that Tommy was the biological dad. And with snooping and looking and all the stuff you could find online, we were like, Kara is got my biological mother. But I didn't have matches on 23andMe to prove that. So I did the ancestry to see if I could get any more matches. And then I also found out that I could apply for not my birth certificate, but it's like verification for my original birth certificate. So I could send something into the county and ask if, I don't know how to explain it, but say these two, I had to name who my biological mother and father were. And then they would pretty much say, yes, this is who's on that.
They wouldn't give you the information, but you said,
Right.
I think these are my parents, yes or no.
Yes.
So they verify.
Okay.
For you.
Yeah, and so I sent that in when I also sent the test for the ancestry at the same time, and it took weeks. So we're waiting and waiting. And then finally, I get my results back for the ancestry. And one of the top names there is for my uncle, and that's Doug.
Is that on the paternal and maternal side?
Maternal.
Okay.
I know that's Kara's brother because we've already put together her whole family because that's who we suspect.
You did a lot of snooping.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot. I mean, I should have brought my binder of just
Wow.
notes of writing down and connecting and just it's crazy.
It shouldn't be that hard to like.
Well, I don't think it is nowadays.
Well,
but-
and some states have finally passed laws where it's open. So once you're 18, you just ask and you get the information.
Gotcha.
And closed adoptions are so rare nowadays, too. 'Cause
Yeah.
when we were looked at babies, it was just like, it's so rare
No,
to get
it's
closed.
there's a lot more open. So, so we finally got that, and it's I think 9 in the morning, and I get the results. Excuse me, and I text Bill and I said, it's them, it's Tommy, it's Kara. And I guess I should say we figured out Tommy and Kara. So she was 15, he was 18 when I was born, which is what I always knew that. I always knew that they were 15 and 18, which is why I understood why I was put up for adoption.
Is it the Catholic Cherries told you all that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What did you ask?
If Catholic Cherries had told her, or
okay.
told her adopted parents.
All they told us was their height, the color of their hair, the color of their eyes, they're Catholic, and that 15 and 18.
Okay.
So that's the information I knew.
Okay.
Sorry, should have started with that. So anyway, we found out they actually got married. Tommy and Kara got married
After they had given you up for adoption?
right when she turned 18. So 3 years later, they got married, and they are still married. And I have a younger brother who is 8 years younger than I am.
Go brother.
A full biological
Who looks
brother.
so much like you.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
He's the male version of me for sure.
Yeah.
But he's a lot taller and a lot skinnier, but still.
Well, I mean, yeah. I just in college, barring eating disorders, you've always been pretty rake thin.
Well, yeah. We definitely are related.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I called them that day. I called Bill. I was like, I'm going to call them because we had found phone numbers for them. I wasn't sure which phone number, who it was for, but I found phone numbers. And he's like, just hold on. Let me come home from work. Hold on. So he rushes home. I'm a nervous wreck, but at least I know they're married. I'm not a secret, they know. And so first I called a number and it was their home number, and I left a message on the answering machine, which they still have. And
Do you remember what you said?
I said, "My name is Lindsey." I don't remember what I said. I think it was like I was born on September 13th, you know, blah, blah, blah. And
I think I may be your daughter.
yeah, I had the
don't
script.
know.
I don't remember. I have to find my script. I don't remember. But, so I left a message and they're like, all right, well, I'm going to try the other number. And so I called and Kara answered. It was her cell phone. And hi, my name is Lindsey. I was born on September 13th, 1980 at St. Joseph Hospital at the time. And I think you're my birth mom. And there was like silence. And I was like,
I'm scared.
Ooh, that would give me palpitations.
I was like, and then she said, I hope it's okay I called you. She said, baby, are you okay? Where are you?
Aww.
And I'm just both started crying.
Aww.
And
Was she near Tommy? Was Tommy like nearby?
no, they were both at work because it was like a Monday or a Tuesday. But I was like, I don't care. I didn't even think of it. I was like, I just need to call them.
Can you imagine getting that phone call at work?
No, I felt so. We had to run to a conference room. That's why like there was a silence because she works like in like an open area too. Yeah. So yeah, we talked and she said yes, I am, and she told me that they always
Wondered about you.
wanted me. They wanted me, and but they wanted a better life for me, and they think of me, and they love me, and they told my brother about me, and that yes, they're open to meeting me. Yes, you know, and grandkids, and they were like, "Oh my god!" And so we talked for a while, and then she said, "I have to call Tommy and tell him. Is it okay if he calls you?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." And so I'm able to calm down a little bit from that. And then Tommy calls me, and then it's just another like
The river.
yeah, river fest, and they're just.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. That's so sweet.
I know, I'm trying not to do. They are the sweetest, most loving people, and I am so grateful to have finally have them in my life, but then have them part of my kids' life.
Just doubles your family size.
I mean, yeah, and they love the kids so much. You know, we visit as often. They live in Katy, I live in Austin, so we're pretty close. It's like 3 hours away.
For
3.5.
For the listeners here in Alabama, Katie's a suburb of Houston.
Yes, sorry.
No, it's
And
okay.
for Jennifer, because Jennifer doesn't know nothing about that, so separate.
I don't know why I don't, but yeah. So, yeah, it's a fairy tale, and it's amazing that they are still together. They've been through so much, and they both have so much guilt about putting me up for adoption, which I tell them not to, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
That I always knew that
She was
she was wrong, and that my adopted parents already told they did it because they wanted you to have a better life, you know. And I understood that. They just still, you know, feel guilty about it. So I hope one day they will stop feeling that way, but
Probably not.
probably not.
But I bet they're thrilled to have you back in their life. How did your adopted parents take it, Ann and Greg?
I was always very open. I mean, they've known since I was a kid that I was interested, and that I wanted to find them. That was not a secret.
Were they supportive?
Yeah, I mean, I remember my mom taking me to like an adoption affiliates meeting or something, and we would talk about it. You know, they definitely said, well, you have to wait till you're 18, you know, and they were, I think, just afraid that I was going to be rejected. Thank you. I was going to be rejected.
Yeah.
And hurt, which, yeah, you know,
yeah.
of course, that makes sense. I think they were happy for me when I did tell them, you know. Even my dad was like, well, that's an amazing story. I can't believe they're together, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, even when you told me, I was shocked.
Yeah, it's not real. That's not a real story.
Yeah,
that
it's just
doesn't happen in real life.
Know, it's so sweet and wonderful.
Yeah. But I think it's hard for them, and I continue to tell them that Tommy and Kara aren't replacing them. They're still my parents. They're the ones that raised me. They're the ones that took care of me. They're, but that these are just extra people
Yeah.
I get to have in my life, and that the kids get to have in their lives. So,
Have they met? Have you?
they did meet. We went out to dinner, just both set of parents and myself.
Aw.
And so we talked, and it went fine. And then they've been to, kids' birthday parties, all of them together. They have not met Andrew, just because Andrew's work schedule is kind of crazy. So
Right.
that's the baby boy.
Just trying to track everything.
I know, it's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. But it means, 2 sets of grandparents for the kids, so they love that shit. I'm
Oh,
sure.
gosh,
3 sets
yeah.
because of Bill's parents.
Bill's parents,
too. That's extra Christmas presents, extra birthday presents.
Oh, yeah. We have all
They're
kinds of
loving that.
Christmases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kids are so, it was an immediate connection, I think, for all of us. We all felt
Yeah.
It was kind of like, oh, we've known each other, forever. There was no awkwardness. There was just always,
Love.
yeah. And it was instant. Bill felt it. The kids felt it, Coda started crying because I went to meet Tommy and Kara. Bill and I did. And then a couple weekends later, we went to Katie. And then a couple weekends later, Tommy and Kara came to visit us and to meet. And they came over to our house, and, we talked and all that stuff. And then we went out to dinner that night, and Tommy was talking with Coda a lot, and they were joking around. And Coda's very easy to talk. He's very comfortable. They're comfortable talking with adults. And so Tommy was very impressed by that. But anyway, we were leaving the restaurant. Tommy and Kara had already gotten in their car, and we were about to get in ours, and Coda just broke down crying.
Aww.
And I was like, what's wrong? What's happening?
Yeah.
And they said, I just realized, I was happy for you that you found them, but they love us too.
Oh,
And
Coda.
we have more people in our family now too. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, it's special for everybody, just for all of us.
Oh, good Lord.
Lord.
Lindsay,
You're making me cry.
you're making me
Stop.
cry.
Don't say y'all. I'm just sitting here. I'm not doing
No,
shit.
I know with me and Lindsay are over here boohooing.
Oh, God, crying's good sometimes.
Aw, it's such a... So, I always wondered is there anything that would have made, do you wish anything could have changed anything? Still living with Van and Greg, would you have liked to have known them, as you've grown up?
Tommy and Kara?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel, we've talked about this with them. They missed my wedding. They missed my pregnancies, the babies. I think that's really hard. They love looking at the baby pictures and stuff, but it's also hard because they weren't for it. And then they look, we've gone through all pictures from my childhood and, college and all this stuff. And I think they're happy to see it, but it's also hard. And it's just as hard for me to go back and look at their pictures and Andrew's pictures, seeing Andrew, thinking I could have been playing with him and doing that. And I think, but we always say, you know what, we can't change it.
Yeah.
And things happen, and, I did have a good life. I was able to do a lot that I wouldn't have been. And Tommy always says, we didn't have a lot of money, but you always would have been,
Aww.
So,
We didn't have microphones in front of our face.
I know.
Air hug.
So.
Did you do the letter thing at 18 with the Catholic Church? Did you give them the letter and the money and all that?
No,
Stuff? Oh.
because I don't have
So I was
money.
wondering if they ever got,
No, okay.
You brought it up, so I was just wondering.
No.
I thought that was something her adopted parents had to do.
No, I could do it or they could do it.
At 18.
Oh,
That's what she was
okay.
saying at 18, but then they were wanting money for it, which is
Oh,
bullshit.
okay.
Well, and
I
there was all
misunderstood
these
that.
other things that there was a certain amount
That's
of
too
therapy
much.
sessions, and I had it was just stupid. It was a business,
That's crazy.
and it made me mad. But I also found out, and it still pisses me off, and I have contacted a Catholic charity, since, but Tommy and Kara wrote me letters and sent them to Catholic Charities saying that if I ever contacted that, yes, they are willing. And
Oh, fuck Catholic charities.
exactly.
Oh my
and
God.
I was like, and they did that, I think, when I was like 20. And so I've contacted Catholic Charities several times throughout my life.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Fuck
Oh.
them.
And I emailed them and I left a voicemail. I can't remember her name. I have it somewhere. But saying, hey, I want my letters.
Seriously.
You can't give me back time, but you can at least give me the fucking letters that they wrote me.
Right, because they took, what, like 12 years off of what you could have been having time with Tommy and Kara? Because 20, because you just met them like 4 years ago,
Yeah.
so
That's
a long
more than
time. Huh?
That's more than 12 years.
I can't ask. I forgot what ages and everything. And,
There's so many numbers and names.
yeah, and I've been drinking, you know.
Ugh.
Oh my God, that is.
A baby
Let's
adoption.
go to Catholic Charities and punch them.
I don't even think, and that they were, last time I talked with this lady, she was saying, they're cutting our hours, they're cutting our budget, so she was only working a few days a week. And it's like, okay, and this is for post-adoption services. So I'm like, y'all have been doing adoption for decades, and now what? You're just not going to offer services anymore for all these people? And not just like old people like me, but they're supposed to be offering services for like the young kids that need therapy. That's their job to help them do that. So Catholic Charities, you suck.
Yes.
They have to pay for all those sex abuse scandals.
Well,
so they
yeah,
can-
well,
even if it's not Catholic Charities, baby adoption just has an icky factor to it. Even when we were looking, like when Jennifer and I were looking for kids to adopt through like older foster kids, it felt like you were looking through the Sears catalog.
You're shopping for
Yeah,
a kid.
it feels
Well,
icky.
I'm telling you, we could do a whole nother podcast too about Kara's side of this, because
Oh, I'd love to get Kara on the
the
podcast.
amount of fucked upness on that, like just how things were in the 80s when you were a teen mom, you went to a teen mom home and taken away from everybody, and then she went, and she's 15. She goes into birth, they whisk her away to the hospital, and they pretty much put her to sleep, like drug her up. Her stepmom was there, who is an abusive, horrible person. And the nurse said, do you want to hold her? Meaning me, hold the baby. And the stepmom was like, no, that's not a good. And she said, no, go away. So Kara never got to hold me. She never got to see me.
Oh, fuck.
She asked a male nurse, she said, it's a girl, isn't it? And he said, yeah. And she said, she has red hair, doesn't he? Said, yeah. I knew she had red hair.
Oh,
And they did. The only good thing is that I was with a foster home for not even a month before the adoption, I guess, was finalized. And the foster mom took pictures. There's 2 pictures of me, and they gave it to Catholic Charities, and they did give those to Kara and Tommy. So they have 2 pictures of me. Or not cute pictures either, but and on the back it says Sarah. So my foster parents called me Sarah.
do you know what Kara and Tommy would have named you?
No.
Okay, just wondered.
We've asked, and they've
Just
just
They're just
said,
like, "Don't
well,
worry
we
about
wouldn't. They wouldn't want to think about it. They didn't want to.
I bet that was a hard
But
time for
they've
them.
called me Sarah. I've been Sarah for until they found me. They've always referred to me as Sarah, and that's when I went to go visit Kara's mom, who's in like assisted living and everything. She kept calling me Sarah, and I was like, it's fine. It's you could call me. I will be Sarah for as long as you need me.
You're Linda to me, you're Sarah to her.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I have all kinds of different
I
names
pretty
for
much
you.
will answer to anything.
There you go. Oh, that's such a heartwarming story, because it's like you just hear there's a lot of horror stories when it comes to adoption.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm just so glad it worked out.
Yeah, it still seems like a dream, but the best dream ever.
Yeah. You got to double your family size in a day.
Yeah.
I think my brother's biological mom went through something similar, because I think she went through Catholic Charities, and she said they hardcore pressured her to give up the baby because she was. But
Well, yeah. I mean, there was so much going on with Kara. Like Kara there was kind of an option for me to stay with like a family member, but Kara was did not feel comfortable with that and wanted, like I said, wanted better. So and I think that was the best.
It sounds like her family was kind of problematic anyway.
They were both going through, like, there was divorces and then it was just
Nuts.
A lot.
it was a lot, and no one really could take care of a newborn baby. But it worked out, like I said, I had a great life. I'm thankful that Van and Greg adopted me. I'm thankful for my sisters, I'm thankful for everything.
I'm glad. I mean, like, as heart-wrenching it is for Kara and Tommy, I was like, I'm glad because I met you.
Well, yeah, my life would have been, who knows, it would have been complete, but I know it would be completely different. I don't know what would have happened, but I know I wouldn't have done all the things and been here today.
You
So.
probably would.
No.
She would have been Sally.
Oh, God knows. I don't know. I don't know what 15-year-old Kara would have named me. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. It was the 80s, so it'd be like Farrah or something.
oh, God. I don't know.
Well, I think that's probably, we're at 51 minutes. That's a good transition time, I think. We need to have you back on so we can get Kara. Or maybe we'll come to do a
Hell,
podcast
if
with
you're
her.
paying for it, I'm going wherever.
Wait, I'm sure
Travel.
she would love to, but you just got you're gonna cry.
Oh,
you will
yeah.
probably even cry, Jessica.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is.
Heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just put your ass to sleep to have a baby because then you don't want that just sounds horrible.
I think that was one of the most hurtful thing is that and that was one of the things I asked her privately, not in front of everyone, just because I knew it would be a
Touchy subject.
emotional thing, just for
Yeah.
being a mom. Just go from
Yeah.
doing it, that first time you hold your baby is such a
Imagine.
I mean, I can't
Yeah.
even describe it. But I figured she hadn't, and then she said she didn't. She was crying, and it was that to me was she never got to say hello. She never got to say goodbye. So okay, stop me.
That is.
That's heart-wrenching.
And I mean, I've never given birth, but I was there when my mom gave birth to my brother, and yours different, and I was bawling like a big fucking baby.
And you could see that.
I mean, I didn't want to see my mama like that.
Well,
but
God,
just
no, but-
having my brother come into the world and seeing us first cry, and then my mama was like, follow that baby, because she didn't want to be having switched babies, even though this was 1999, so I mean, no one's really switching babies, but Mom was like, follow that child, and I'm like, yes ma'am. So I watched everything that they did to him, and cleaned him and gave him the Akbar,
Apgar.
whatever.
Gar.
Yeah, that test, and
You made sure that baby wasn't switched.
and I watched until they brought the baby back to me. And then I had a little bit of a cold, so the only time I could hold him is if it was like, baby, be hungry, and I would go get him, and then like I couldn't like put him up to me,
Yeah.
but I could pick him up and then just like put him on Mama. Yeah, I'm big sister, I got this. So that's about as much as I know about childbirth is that situation. But even that, it was a magical moment to see my brother come into the world.
bet.
So to have one come out and not say hello or goodbye or see it, not that you're it or anything, but boy, girl.
No, I'm Lindsey, Sarah.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. So, I don't see how that, it's a heart for you and for her and everybody. And fuck the stepmom.
Oh God,
Oh, and
she's
fuck the Catholic Charities.
She's
Yeah,
the
that
devil.
too. Yep.
Well, now that we've cried, let's do our little transition. So, for all our 4 listeners out there, if you have any funny stories about your kids,
Or if you need some bad parenting advice.
email us at guidetopoorparenting@gmail.com. And let us know. Let us have it.
Yes.
Give us some stories. We'll read them on the air, not live. We'll read them into our microphones.
Yes.
All right. So, what are we having for snack time, Miss Jennifer?
Girl Scout cookies.
Fuck yeah.
What?
Who
It's
knows
that
when-
time of the year.
Yeah. Who knows when this gets released? But man,
Yeah.
this is it's Girl Scout. When Lindsay came into town, I was like, "What kind of Girl Scout cookies you want?" And then I couldn't find any place before she came in, and so I was like, "Come on, Lindsay, we're going to the store." Getting
Well,
some.
now we see them on every grocery store corner. They're just out there now. But when we went to look, we just forgot to get them.
Well, the Saturday morning or yesterday morning, I went to Star Market because you had said they were
Oh,
out.
yeah.
And they weren't out that morning. So
sorry.
after we did lunch, we went over to Kroger's and got some and bought like $20 worth. Of
I mean,
cute
some-
little girls.
They were
so
third,
cute.
I don't know.
I don't know. They were precious.
Adorable.
I was like, I want 4 boxes, and their dad was like, how much is that, girls? And she was like, 5, 10, 15, $20. And then Zane got some, and he had a 50, and he's like, okay, girls, how much change is it? And they're like, if you have $50, and it's mine. So cute.
That is
They did such a good job.
It was so precious.
And I mean the Samoas because that's my favorite. And
What
you
you
got
got?
some Adventurefuls.
Those are good.
Those are the new ones.
Yeah. They're not...
this
they're
year,
not-
I think, right?
Yeah, they're 2 years old, they said.
Oh, 2 years old.
The toffee ones are this year, I think.
This year, gotcha.
Yeah. And then Lindsay's, you got Samoas too, right?
Samoas, too.
Yeah. I got my
We got some
Thin
Thin
Mints.
Mints. Yeah,
Fuck
we just
yeah.
went all out.
All right, Miss Lindsay. Now we've had our snack time. We've got our cocktails. Miss Lindsay, you got a good story for us? It's story time.
Oh, that's right.
You said you had a good one.
I did, yes, okay.
Did you remember it?
Yes, I do. When he looked at me and said story, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, yes, I do have a story, actually.
Right.
Nice. Okay, my youngest, Tate, it was before he was 2, but we were at this place, it's like it has strawberry fields, you could pet your own strawberries and pick flowers and all kinds of stuff. And we had already gone through and done that, and then the last part is they have goats, and you could feed the goats, but you can't pet them or whatever. So people are throwing like little pellets at the goats for them to eat. And so the kids and Bill, they're all looking, and I'm like, okay, Bill, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. Everyone's happy, and we're about to leave. So I go run to the bathroom, come out from the bathroom. Coda is running up to me. Mom! I'm like, what is going on? And he just yells, Tate ate goat poop. And I was like, what? So I'm running over there. I'm looking at Bill, and he's just got this shocked and freaked out, like looking around, looking at Tate, looking at me, looking at Tate, and Tate's like taking his hand and running it down his tongue and like spitting. And Bill had like taken baby wipes to his mouth. And I was like, what? And Grayson's just laughing.
I would have too.
And then I swear, I want someone to have a video. Like someone had been recording this. I feel like I want, because it's
funny.
freaking hilarious. And I was like, what happened? And I guess Tate saw people throwing like the pellets and stuff, and that goat's eating it. And so he reached down, and like goat poop, it's like little
pellet.
balls,
Yeah.
like little ball. Like so I think he thought it was chocolate.
Ugh.
So he
Cadbury egg.
picked up and started chewing it. It was all in his teeth. And it spit it out. And the kid didn't eat chocolate for like 6 years. He finally started eating chocolate. But so we had to go in the car, and we finally, got it all.
I would have
But
pissed myself
Bill
laughing.
called poison control when we got in the car to see,
Yeah.
if there's something toxic and goat poop. And the lady on the phone just started laughing, and she's like, I have gotten called about so many things, but goat poop, this is a first. And she was like, I'm dying. Bill's still just like,
Freaked out.
yeah. And it's okay to eat goat poop, apparently.
Note to
He
self.
spit most of it out, so if your kid ever eats goat poop, you should be fine.
I was
But
about to say it's mostly like fibrous material, so I can't imagine it's that.
so it's fine. But yeah, Tate wouldn't eat chocolate forever.
Oh,
Oh
poor baby.
my god. Oh, that is so funny. That's a good story. That's
Yeah.
a really good story.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then just like trying to get it off of his tongue with his hand.
Was it, he was seriously
Yeah.
licking his hand,
I
and
just-
Bill like right before had taken just a baby wipe and taken it to wipe. Those don't take like
No.
you can't.
I was like, I could go get some Listerine. And
And
like,
oh
bleh.
god, it was just and the sheer panic on Bill's face.
The what the fuck?
And I know you can't see me, but he was like going like crouched down with his hands out like this, like what do I do? Oh god, one of my favorite memories
Oh
ever.
my god. We'll
I
ask
love
him about
it. That was
next-
a great story.
That
It
was a
like
good
one of my
one.
favorite stories so far.
I'm gonna ask him about that next time I talk to him. Like,
Had
Bill,
any good goat poop lately?
oh, you let your baby eat
That's
goat
what
poop.
happens if you don't watch your kids. Like he
Yes.
was looking at the goats and not
Right.
looking at the baby.
The 2-year-old at
Come
that. That's the
on.
one you got it. Well, I don't know. With Wesley, I got him.
I was like, I could see Ayana just taking off and doing shit like that
Yes.
too. That little shit will just run
Yep.
off and do whatever.
Yep.
Oh my god, Lindsay, that was so funny.
That was funny.
Well, thank you so much for coming over, flying all the way from Texas to do the podcast with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And for all 4 of our listeners,
Hi,
thank
Mom.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Yuda. Thanks for listening to A Guide to Poor Parenting.
If you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on.
And if you don't like our podcast, just like we tell our kids when they ask if they can have pizza when we've already cooked something.
Tough shit.
Bye.
Bye.
Say bye, Lindsay.
Bye.